First base here. Who are you going to captain in the DFS Showdown, Paul?
It's pretty close between the two starting pitchers tonight. They're at the top of my considerations in this spot, Emerson. Jose Urquidy has all the good peripherals, just like Eduardo Rodriguez in recent outings, as well as the whole season. So in looking for a tiebreaker between the two, I land on a couple of thoughts. Rodriguez has been the more dominant of the two in their last 5 starts, allowing 2 runs or less each time out. And he's clearly more experienced in pitching in the bandbox known as Fenway Park. It's the latter point that causes me to lean in that direction on the home side starter in this single game slate tonight. You have to have the starter who is most likely to go deeper and get the win. Tonight, that's Rodriguez pitching at home for $15,600.
Yeah, he's been kind of Jekyll or Hyde this year. Erik, what do you think here? Does it come down to one of the pitchers for you?
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting strategic question, I think. During the regular season in a showdown contest, you basically have to pick a pitcher.
Yep.
And if you pick the right pitcher, then you made the best captain choice. Pitchers just score more in daily fantasy than hitters do. In the playoffs, though, man, they're just pulling these starters earlier and earlier. And I think there's a real question of, are they going to get pulled even? Is there going to be an even faster hook today because these two teams are coming off an off day, their relievers are rested, or is it going to be a slightly slower hook because this is the first out of 3 consecutive games? So they might need to save some relievers. I was looking at, to see if there's any precedent. We haven't really had these guys go the first out of 3 games in a row in a playoff series. In the ALDS, in the games coming off of an off day, both teams had one where they pulled the starter really early and another where they went at least 5 innings. So I think it's tough to conclude. I think in cash games, I have to just pick a pitcher, whichever pitcher you think is going to be on the winning team. I might slightly lean Urquidy there, but you can make a case for either one. But in tournaments, I really like the idea of going with Carlos Correa. That's where I was on Friday as well. He hit a homer. It's a little bit cheaper. I think he's the cheapest of the big bats that will get the platoon advantage. He's got plenty of pop. If you're picking a hitter, you basically need him to hit a homer, and I think he's got a good shot at it. So for me, it's pick your pitcher in cash games and go with Correa in big tournaments.
Yeah, it's actually Rafael Devers who's the most expensive player in this showdown tonight. So he's 16-2 in the captain spot, 1.5 times the salary, 1.5 times the points, though. Second base here, guys. So if you are going to be paying up there, who are you looking at for value in the showdown, Erik?
Again, I think it has to be Christian Arroyo. In these showdown contests, you got to get whoever costs at the minimum or close to it and is actually going to be in the lineup. That's basically Arroyo and Martin Maldonado. Maldonado can't really hit 554 OPS for the season, whereas Arroyo is actually a slightly above average hitter in his limited action this year. He's not a guy you'd roster in normal contests throughout the regular season because he hits near the bottom of the order and is nothing special. But if you get, say, Correa as your captain, and have Arroyo in there as a minimum price player, your average remaining salary is $8,500, which is actually quite good. Your average player, that's right between Xander Bogaerts and Yordan Alvarez. So I think I'd be looking at starting a lineup with those two and loading up on as many power bats as possible.
Okay, Paul, what's your strategy here for value?
I think Alex Verdugo has to be the guy for me. He's come up clutch in so many of the Sox big wins over the past month, and his recent numbers bear that out as well. 8 other of his teammates will cost you more than his $10,200 price tag, which surprised me. But the case to include him tonight in DraftKings DFS play is an easy one. First, he gets a platoon edge against Urquidy. And second, he has been on a torrid run of late with 14 hits in his last 43 at-bats. It just feels like he's been delivering in lots of key moments, and I look for him to continue that trend tonight.
All right, boys, let's go to the hot corner here. Let's go to third base. Let's go to the DraftKings Sportsbook. Your favorite player prop is what, Paul?
I like Houston's side of this equation for the 1.5 hit prop payoff for Jose Altuve, who's 12 for 34 in the postseason and has a 5 for 13 record and a platoon edge against Rodriguez heading into play tonight. I also like the strikeout prop for Rodriguez, which is set to pay off at minus 120 when he goes over 3.5 strikeouts this evening. He's been on a nice run, as I said earlier, and he's gone over that mark in each of his last 5 starts, and I see no reason why he won't extend that streak. I'm expecting both starters to go deep into this game.
All right, Erik, favorite player prop for ALCS Game 3?
Yeah, so I was looking for a way to fade Enrique Hernandez on the theory that maybe his odds would be way too good just because I know he's been on a ridiculous tear lately, but it's got to end at some point, and it's not like he is the best hitter in this series. But honestly, the odds seem to treat him pretty fairly. There's nothing I really loved there, which I guess means that if you are all in on hot streaks, he's getting better odds than you might think he should get. The prop that I did wind up going with is Eduardo Rodriguez to give up a homer and the Red Sox to lose is plus 300. Basically, this is a roundabout way to bet on the Astros winning. The Astros winning is minus 105, but you get way better payout if you think they're going to win while homering off Rodriguez. And I think that if they do win, there's a pretty good chance that they will homer off Rodriguez. He gave up a homer in just under half of his starts this season. I believe it was 14 out of 31. And again, if you already tell me that the Astros are going to hit a homer, that dramatically increases their chance of winning because you've already spotted them a run. So I think if you want to bet on the Astros to win, I'd actually do it that way and get a much better payout with more risk, but not dramatically more risk.
All right, we're coming home, everybody. Slate approved pick, your favorite bet for tonight in this game, Erik.
Let's go with over 9 runs. The scores in the 2 games so far this series are 9 and 14 runs, so I guess 1 push and 1 over. If you look at the games involving one of these 2 teams so far in the postseason, they've averaged 12.3 runs per game. They've each gone over 4 times. Normally, you'd expect playoff games to be lower scoring because teams just run out an endless stream of relievers who throw 110. And it's basically, a 3-2 game where one team hits 2 solo homers, the other team hits a solo shot and a 2-run shot. These 2 teams, though, they are just so offense heavy. 2 of the best lineups in the league. Not great bullpens for a playoff team. And both these pitchers are fine, but I think for a playoff starter, they're probably, you'd say, below average. So I think we should see a fair amount of runs here. I don't think 9 is particularly high.
All right, Paul, bring us home, dude.
I'm going to go to the other side of that equation, take the underside. So I'm looking for both of these starters to continue their respective streaks of dominance that I highlighted earlier and look for both of them to keep a lid on the potent offenses. And I mean, all the numbers that Erik said are true. The recent run of offense has been great, but at some point that's got to stop, or even for a brief interlude. And I think tonight could be it. So I have done successfully many times before looking at the alternate run line. I'm going to even go lower. I'm going to go 7.5 under the 7.5 prop today, pays off at plus 155 tonight.